unstoppable forces who fought for glory and survived the impossible. The Iron Hearts. Khawlah bint al-Azwar. She disguised herself as a man and saved her captured brother by fighting an entire army. Khawlah bint al-Azwar, the 7th century Arab warrior poet who was too skilled to be a regular woman. When her brother was captured, she put on armor, hid her identity, and charged into enemy lines alone, fighting so fiercely that the Muslim general thought she was the greatest warrior ever. When she removed her helmet, everyone was shocked. She then led an all-female cavalry unit that terrified Byzantine armies. A poet, warrior, and field commander who proved armor doesn't care about your gender. Absolute legend. Yasuke, the only black samurai in history, and he served the most powerful man in Japan. Yasuke arrived in 1579 as a slave, but his presence was so striking that the legendary warlord Oda Nobunaga refused to believe his skin was real and made him wash to prove it. Nobunaga was so impressed, he freed him, made him a samurai, gave him a house, a katana, and brought him into his inner circle. Yasuke fought in actual battles, stood over 6 feet tall, and when Nobunaga died, he kept fighting until captured. The enemy commander was so amazed by him, he let him live because he's not Japanese and knows nothing. But Yasuke knew everything. Kutulun. This Mongol princess had the most brutal dating requirement in history. Meet Kutulun, Mongol warrior princess and niece of Kublai Khan. She declared she would only marry a man who could defeat her in wrestling. But here's the catch: every man who lost had to give her 100 horses. Warriors, princes, and champions traveled from across the Mongol Empire to try their luck. One by one, she threw them all to the ground. Every single one. After years of victories, she had accumulated over 10,000 horses, making her incredibly wealthy. In the end, she chose her own husband, without making him wrestle first. Queen Nzinga. She sat on a human throne to make a power move. When Portuguese colonizers refused Queen Nzinga a chair, she ordered her servant to become one, asserting her dominance in the most savage way possible. This 17th century African queen didn't just talk tough. She led armies into battle herself, outsmarted European empires for 40 years, and became one of history's deadliest military strategists. Queen Nzinga was the ultimate boss who proved that power recognizes power. No chair, no problem. She made her own rules and changed history forever. Lozen. She could sense enemy locations with her hands. Lozen, the Apache warrior woman with actual superpowers. This fearless fighter rode with Geronimo and had a supernatural ability. She'd raise her hands and they'd tingle in the direction of enemies. Her own brother said she was better than any man and worth 20 warriors. Lozen fought the US Army for decades, rescued women and children under fire, and was one of the last Apache warriors to surrender in 1886. A master horse thief, sharpshooter, and healer who the US government feared so much they imprisoned her 1,500 miles from home. The ultimate warrior mystic. Vercingetorix. He defeated Julius Caesar, a feat almost no one else ever accomplished. Vercingetorix was the ultimate Gaulish chieftain. When Caesar's Roman legions threatened to conquer Gaul, Vercingetorix did the impossible. He united the constantly feuding tribes under one banner. He brilliantly used scorched earth tactics to starve the Roman army and handed Caesar his first major defeat at the Battle of Gergovia. Cornered at the siege of Alesia, he attempted an incredible breakout, fighting Roman forces from both the inside and outside of the walls. Though he eventually surrendered to save his men, he became the eternal hero of Gaul, the ultimate revolutionary who proved Caesar was not invincible. Shih. She commanded 80,000 pirates and made empires negotiate with her. Shih, the prostitute who became the most powerful pirate in history. After her husband died, she took over his fleet and turned it into an unstoppable armada. She had stricter rules than most navies. Rape was punished by death. Desertion meant your ears cut off. China, Portugal, and Britain all failed to defeat her, so they negotiated. She retired rich, kept all her loot, opened a gambling house, and died of old age. While male pirates got hanged, Shih got a happy ending, the ultimate boss move. Rani Lakshmibai, she refused to surrender her throne, even to the world's greatest empire. Rani Lakshmibai was the 22-year-old queen of Jhansi, who became the ultimate symbol of India's 1857 rebellion. When the British seized her kingdom under the doctrine of lapse, she looked at the general and said, "I shall not surrender my Jhansi." This absolute legend personally led her army into battle on horseback, strapped her adopted son to her back, and fought the British with incredible ferocity. When her fortress fell, she escaped in disguise and kept fighting until she died a warrior's death on the battlefield. The British general who fought her called her the most dangerous of all the rebel leaders. Rani Lakshmibai, the ultimate warrior queen who proved that courage has no age limit. Birkebeiners, they skied 35 miles through a blizzard to save a baby prince, and they did it in bark shoes. In 1206, Norway was being torn apart by civil war. When an invading army closed in on the last royal heir, two elite warriors, Thorstein and Skervald, didn't wait for rescue. They became it. Known as Birkebeiners because they wrapped their legs in birch bark for protection, they strapped on wooden planks and charged into the mountains. Carrying the infant prince through sub-zero blizzards and over vertical peaks, they outran an entire army to change the course of history. This wasn't just a sport, it was a high-stakes survival mission. They didn't just save a king, they invented the soul of winter sports. Absolute legends. Hit subscribe now. Books to watch.